We're going to talk to Caleb, no pronouns given, calling in all the way from Ohio, who wants to ask, if the God of the Bible existed, do you think that that God is immoral? Very yes. Let's talk about why. Caleb, you are on AXP with Forrest and Justin. How are you doing today?
Hi guys. So yeah, that's what I called in to talk about. And I'm from the great state of Ohio, only in Ohio.
The heart of it all.
No. I thought it stood for Olympic hyenas.
So
here I am. I don't know anything.
Anyway, so I called in.
Yeah, tell me about this God.
So I've seen from your guys' shorts, and of course I understand the whole concept. You know, you guys are atheist or agnostic atheist, or one of them. I know agnostic atheist is a thing, like literally it's one word, I believe. Anyway, so sorry, I just drew a blank. I'm sorry, I get nervous whenever I call on these kinds of shows.
Oh, you shouldn't call. Sorry, not you shouldn't call. You shouldn't be nervous. Pardon me. Justin's very sweet to talk to. I'm dumb as hell. You have nothing to be nervous about. It's a very easy show.
Oh, anyway, so I was saying that I've seen from your guys, or from the channel, from the Atheist Experience YouTube channel, when I've looked on their YouTube shorts, that of course, even though you guys don't believe that God exists, whenever you've read through like some passages of scripture, specifically the Bible, you've said like, you know, I know better than God, or God did this that was immoral, God did that which is immoral. So I just, the topic that you said when you first took the call is just exactly my question. Do you think that if the God of the Bible existed, that he would be immoral, or this monster or something like that?
Yes.
So I don't believe that objective morals exist, and I don't believe that even if God existed, that objective morals would exist. It would still be subjective to the mind of God. So in my worldview, like when I'm judging God, I'm inherently judging God on my own subjective morality, and my guess is that you probably would too. And we can kind of feel this out a little bit. So for example, if I said to you, you know, Caleb, your mother or your father, one of them commits a sin or commits a crime. Let's say they rob the local grocery store, right? Do you think that you should be punished for that crime?
No.
Right. Is there ever a scenario where somebody should be punished for the crimes of their parents or their great-grandparents or their great-great-grandparents?
I guess it would depend on like the specific situation of whether they were helping with it or not, even though they didn't do the act necessarily.
No, they weren't even alive yet.
Kind of getting too deep into it.
So I'll give you an example of why I would say that you're about to use your own subjective morality, right? So in 1 Samuel chapter 2, you've probably heard of the priest Eli. He was one of the first priests in Israel, and he had two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, and they were pulling all kinds of shenanigans, and it upset God. So God sends a prophet to this priest. It says in chapter 2, verse 27, a man of God came to Eli and said to him, "Thus saith the Lord, I revealed myself to the family of your ancestor in Egypt, when they were slaves in the house of Pharaoh." And then he tells about how he selected them out of all the people to be priests and elevated them. But because of their shenanigans, he's now going to judge them. So in verse 31, he says, "See, a time is coming when I will cut off your strength and the strength of your ancestors' family. No one in your family shall ever live to old age. The only one of you whom I shall not cut off from my altar shall be spared to weep out his eyes and grieve his heart. All the members of your household will die by the sword." And then that actually happens. If you fast forward to 1 Samuel chapter 21 and 22, there's someone named Dog who murders the entire household of the high priest Ahimelech, who is the ancestor of Eli, men, women, and children slain by the sword to fulfill the prophecy of the Lord. None of those people are guilty of the crimes that Hophni and Phinehas committed.
Okay, so could I ask a question for you guys, or is there a question you want me to answer?
Is a question about the passage we're addressing right now?
Well, it has to do with like the topic that we're talking about, morality, and the way you're viewing that scripture.
Well, see, the point of it is you said before we read this passage that there's never a scenario in which somebody should be punished for the crimes of their ancestor. And now we're reading one where God does exactly that. And it sounds to me like you're about to make a pivot.
I'm not going to make a pivot. I'm just saying that I was going to ask you guys. So you said that you think morality is subjective, right?
I'm just asking you your opinion. So in your opinion, is it right to slaughter the great grandchildren of somebody who committed a crime?
Oh, he hung up.
Yeah, I'd run from that hard too. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because you could like, honestly, like you could read the next 3 bullet points on the script. Like, well, if morality is subjective, then why is that wrong? He could be like, nope.